Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. Content is intended to provide accurate information, however, is not intended as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult a financial, legal, or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. Opinions expressed and provided are for general informational purposes only and should not be considered a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security.
Welcome to Protect and Grow with Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland's CFP certified financial planner. He is president and founder of TJ Stearns Inc. Tim Stearns once again with us. Tim, welcome back in.
Hey, Peter. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, Tim. We appreciate the time and the guidance that you share for Chicagoland area savers and investors, those taking their planning and their financial future seriously. And Tim, election season behind us and Thanksgiving behind us, but we're in the midst of the holiday season here, a lot of hustle and bustle. It tends to be a time of the year where people procrastinate, but we've had so much on our minds this year. I can see it maybe being worse than ever when in actuality, this is a time of year where we should be pushing to get things done.
Right. And people have been procrastinating, waiting for the other shoe to drop with the election, the pandemic, et cetera. I mean, there's no better time than the present, is what my father always said. And I agree with that. You know, why wait? And then we've talked about this before, Peter. You know, a lot of people don't want to go see a financial advisor, much like, you know, going to see a doctor, you know, but once you leave there, you know, if you get a clean bill of health, obviously you feel pretty good about it. So my point is, come in and see us, and let's get you a clean bill of financial health, because a lot has changed over this past year. And we saw the market drop precipitously in March, and you know, it's gone up nicely since then, thankfully. But you know, what parameters do you have in there that is going to stop that from happening again to your portfolio? And that's stuff that we try to help people, clients with.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, I know that a lot of people think that going to have a review of their finances is about as fun, something to look forward to as like a trip to the dentist. But unfortunately, you know, these are all things that need to get done. We need to make priorities out of them. And I do want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that if you would like the help, the assistance, the guidance of a qualified, experienced professional with the fiduciary responsibility to your best interests, Tim Stearns is a certified financial planner, makes his time available to you, whether it's just a quick phone call, a specific question that you want to get answered, or if you'd like to go in depth, holistically looking at the comprehensive plan, pick up the phone, give a call. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And through the years of doing this program, I know that you've heard Tim each week on the radio show. You know that he's a big name in planning in Chicago, but he's just a good guy. And Tim, I definitely have appreciated you being down to earth, being approachable, being relatable, helping people with their finances. That's kind of your number one goal. But maybe a little bit more background. Who are you, Tim? What do you do in your day-to-day life?
Well, I live the dream like most Americans, just trying to work hard. But
I know you're a family guy. You've got kids in
Yes.
sports, and you talk
Yes.
and care a lot about their aspirations
Right.
in sports and in school and their education. And your wife's a teacher, Jen.
Yep. Yes. So basically, I'm married with 3 boys, and I have a 20, 18, and 16-year-old. And the joke I always use when we're talking to the retirement class is, so I have 3 boys. Would anyone want one? Would anyone want one? and that always goes over the laugh. And sometimes I mean that question, but
Some days more than others.
yes, and it depends on which child. But at the end of the day, that's what gets me up in the morning to, you know, make sure I make a good living to provide for them. And I know that my parents, that's where I learned totally how to do my finances. My kids are starting to become like that, where they're learning, you know, that money doesn't grow on trees, that type of thing. And my dad and mom, my dad passed away 7 years ago this month, but my mom is still around, and she, you know, they were savers, and they still to this day have their principle intact, which I think says a lot about someone who's a railroad conductor and someone who's a secretary in the schools in this area. So in Arlington Heights. So that has taught me to be frugal, smart with my money, but I need to be proactive and put that money to work instead of sitting on the sidelines. Like we're seeing a lot of people who are, waiting for something to happen. The crystal ball doesn't tell them that things line up right now, and they're missing out on really good opportunities.
So many of those valuable life lessons, especially our financial habits and tendencies, are taught to us along the way, either through good examples from parents or grandparents. I know my mom, single parent, teacher, household. She taught me how to balance a checkbook and make ends meet. And she would sit down with a budget with me every so often, like once a month, and show me what things cost and how to manage expenses. That was a good financial lesson. But in college, I got into a little credit card debt myself. It took me a few years to dig my way out. That was kind of the painful lesson. But I'm glad, Tim, that you had those good examples, and it led you into a career of helping others better understand their money and their finances. Would you say you have any areas that you focus in on, or that are kind of a specialty to you, or a niche that that you feel that maybe other planners don't?
I feel like getting people to the finish line, which is to me a successful 30+ year retirement, is my whole goal. And, all of my siblings are baby boomers. They're 68, 67, and 66, and then 60 years old. I'm only 49 this month, but basically, I've seen what they, most of them were introduced in 1974, when I was still in diapers, to the 401k. They don't have an abundance of money that's coming every month from a pension. So I know that they need to make that dollar stretch. Like when they retired, 2 of them are retired out of 4. That was whatever they had in the account that day was the end of the story.
So the baby in the family kind of leading the way as far as the retirement planning. And ironically, Tim, I actually think that that's maybe something that is attractive or should be paid attention to from a lot of savers and investors, is that there are a lot of financial advisors out there who are going to retire before the majority of their clients are going to retire. So having that younger advisor, somebody to lead you to and all the way through and be that resource for you in retirement, is something maybe, ladies and gentlemen, that you should be looking for.
I know that, I see them. My one brother was known for going to bed with a calculator next to his on his table next to his bed. So, we need to help these guys get through it. I mean, my brothers were very talented at what they did in marketing and sales and that type of thing, but with finances, they just weren't comfortable with it. And so I found that, helping them and a lot of their friends, and then they've been churning people onto our retirement classes, which I'm happy to tell you that we're doing those again via Zoom. If anyone would want to tap into that, just give us a call and we'll set up a time. It's a class that's worth it. We usually charge $40 for a husband and wife. Right now, because of what's going on, we're doing them for free. If they want to come in here and see us, that's one thing. But if they don't feel comfortable with that, we'll be happy to do a Zoom, and they learn exactly the same material as my students did in the previous year. And I think it's very beneficial. It's nice to have your 2 older brothers say, "Tim, that was pretty good. Thanks for teaching me that."
Definitely. Well, a great educational offer, ladies and gentlemen. If you would like to take part in those courses, the online webinar classes on retiring right, pick up the phone and give TJ Stearns a call, or go online, tjstearns.com, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. So, Tim, what is it that you do in those courses that may be different lessons or information than the Main Street saver investor with that 401k has heard before? Is there different angles or tips on how to make it that second half of the game in retirement and win the game?
Yes. And we covered, the full ball of wax, from everything from educating what a stock is to how Medicare works, how Social Security works, when should you take Social Security, and trying to answer different questions. It's a really nice class because it's very give and take. If someone doesn't understand a concept, we can dive into it and make sure that they do. I think that's what makes us a little bit different. I'm not there to sell anything. In fact, I'm a certified financial educator, a CFE. So we are just there to educate them as to what they need to be getting ready for, as they're thinking of retirement, I'd say within the next 10 to 15 years would be our sweet spot to, it's going to happen soon. And, we make sure that they help. If they want, they can come see us. There's no obligation, kind of go through their stuff individually, because a lot of people don't want to talk about, what their finances are in front of a group. So if we're doing Zooms one-on-one, we can really help people get through and get to a successful retirement. We see that a lot of people procrastinate, and they don't know where to start. Well, the starting point would be to get educated and then find out kind of what you're lacking in, and then we can help them.
Kind of two different sides to your business is the education side, and then in assisting clients, savers and investors with actually producing their specific plans. And
Right.
For that second side of the business, I believe, Tim, the education side is literally for anyone. You will help anybody become better educated and more informed. But as far as servicing clients, who are your services best suited for?
Definitely baby boomers, people that, they don't have a pension. They're not really sure. They think they're going to be all right. And as you and I have talked about before, we work in the know. That's what an income allocation plan is all about, working in the know, so that when a pandemic happens and your portfolio drops precipitously, you still have an income plan in place that you're paying the bills. That stings a little bit if the market goes down, but it doesn't sting as badly as if you're in asset allocation where, on average 22.3% down in March. Luckily the Fed propped us up and brought it back up. But how much do they have left in the gas tank if, God forbid, we have a resurgence of this pandemic? So that, to me, is the people that we can help, that are questioning whether they have enough money. They're thinking, they're telling their spouse, yeah, it's going to be okay, but they go to bed at night not really sure. Those are the people we can help.
That key question, do I have enough, or how much is enough, or when can I retire? If those are questions on the minds of savers and investors, probably a beneficial time to give you a call and get answers to those questions.
No better time than now, and rip the Band-Aid off and come see us and make sure that you're ready to take a look at things, and take yourself seriously, and work in the know. Best thing about our income allocation plans, one of my brothers, his friend had some medical issues and we had to change it after 3 months after we had put it into place. Luckily, all of our plans are dynamic, because life is not static. Some things change drastically for
Things
him.
happen from time to
Right.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. We always say life happens. So we made sure that we helped him, and we redid a couple things and he's fine. And during the pandemic, I never once got a phone call from him panicky or anything like that. We talked, I have a newsletter that I put out to all my clients. They know I'm just a phone call away. There's not a B, or C client. I'm always working with the clients. We make sure that we're taking, it's all about service and making sure that you understand that dollar is theirs, and they want to make sure that you're caring for it as much as they would be.
Well, again, if you would like to talk with an experienced, qualified professional, a certified financial planner, CFP, Tim Stearns is Chicagoland's resource for that common sense approach to planning. Pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, in addition to the radio program, the classes that you offer, the opportunity for just specific questions or a comprehensive holistic planning review, you also mentioned that income allocation. It's a very special book. It's really a retirement resource guide that has been used across the country. You mentioned income allocation, and something that you have done on the program is give away a number of copies of that book to Chicagoland area savers and investors that want to learn how to structure the ideal retirement.
The book is outstanding, and I think it'll stand the test of time. It's a couple years old now, but everything in it holds true, and it held true throughout all this different, the market going down precipitously. You have asset allocation that people are still using, and it's failed 5 times in the last 20 years. How many times more do you need to touch the top of the stove to know that it's hot? You don't want to do that, and I have a better method than most people that I think are out there. All these advisors are still doing stuff that they did in the 80s, the 90s, and the zeros. And, things have changed. You can't just buy and hold. You can't just, and this book talks about all that. You can't just go into rank and file mutual funds. One of the things I like to tell, prospects that come in, they want to talk to us, I'll look at the mutual funds they have and I'll say, you realize that my son with $25 could be invested in the same thing. And you have over $1.5 million. Why don't we get you something more robust that won't go down like a lemming when the market goes down, and better yet, will sustain the test of time.
Again, if you would like to take a look at that book, get a copy in your hands, or get it in a digital format so you can read it and understand how to structure a more secure, stable, ideal retirement, pick up the phone, give a call now, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256, or go online, tjstearns.com. You can actually watch a short video. It's about 4 minutes long, and it explains some of the concepts behind income allocation, and the motivation for having written that book were the problems that were actually generated by the model that most Americans are following, asset allocation, which is a model that is about 65 years old. It's called the modern portfolio theory. But Tim, as you stated, it's failed numerous times, and most Americans are looking for a more stable, secure way to structure at least their baseline, their foundation for retirement. And that's what income allocation is all about. So again, if you'd like your copy, pick up the phone and give a call now, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, I think those questions of when can I retire? How much do I need to retire? How much is enough are a few of the things in the back of people's minds that actually prompt them to begin the conversation and potentially work with a financial professional. Do you find that there are any other events that lead people to the conclusion that, hey, now is the time that I really need the help of a qualified, competent money pro?
Well, yeah, I mean, you see it definitely when a market downturns. Even the do-it-yourselfers are questioning what happened here. So, this is a full-time job for us. We take it very seriously. We have an accountant on staff, we have a lawyer on staff, and then we have a team of people that manage the funds, the money that we get in. So I think definitely a downturn in the market, a job change or a job termination. I have one sibling that did not go out on his own accord. A new company had bought his company, and that was kind of all she wrote for him. And things had changed drastically at that company that he didn't even want to be there anymore. But things like that, life-changing events, that's when you need to come see somebody who's a professional and not someone who dabbles in this. I understand that when you're in a 401k, the mutual funds serve their purpose. You have to have them. But if you're over 59 and a half, you don't have to have them. You can do an in-service distribution while you're still working for a company and take the reins of your own portfolio instead of being beholden to whatever your company's investing in. Do your own thing. There's much better products out there that you could be doing something smarter with your money. I always tell people, you work hard. Why don't you make your money do that?
Yeah, absolutely. We want our money. If we have worked hard for it, we want it to in turn work hard for us. And growth through investment management is really the key, Tim, but it's kind of the key to the first half of the game, because ultimately it's not what we make or what we grow or how much is in that lump sum. It's what we actually get to keep. And so while investment management and growth has been the key to getting us to this point, I think that a lot of people are wondering if proactive tax management is not the key to the second half of the game, where even if we come out with a big lead, we might blow it if we are not very, very specific in how we are strategizing to optimize and be efficient with how much we actually get to keep of our money.
Right. And that's another reason that we educate people in our classes or nowadays in Zooms about, that Medicare is actually, if you have assets, you'll actually pay more than someone who does not have assets.
It's kind of means tested, huh?
It's totally means tested. And most people don't realize that. They think, well, I'm paying $400 a month, so is Joe Blow down. No, that's not the case at all. So how do you do that? To skirt that issue, maybe you do a Roth conversion. Maybe you start doing a Roth 401k at your work, or just doing a Roth in general for yourself, just individually. Those are the different tricks of the trade that, down the road, when you pull money out, you're not going to pay taxes on the Roth. It's really a great thing. and it's not going to affect your Medicare and other things that you have coming into the house.
Now, Tim, some may be concerned that tax laws and the tax environment might change into the future. Is now really a window of opportunity to seize upon and be proactive with that tax planning?
Right. I mean, a lot of people have talked about, that they're going to change the tax bills and our tax rates to higher. And, the lowest they've been in 1,000 years, basically. And so that right now is a great time to do it. Right now in the month of December, when you kind of know what you've made during the year, do a Roth conversion, and you can play within that area. So you're not going into a higher tax bracket and getting really hit with taxes. So those are things, being proactive. Most people are reactive in retirement. They realize, oh, wow, I never paid taxes on any of this money, and now I get this tax bill. Shoot, this is something.
Forgot about that.
Exactly, right. And you kick the can down only so far, and then now you're taking it out. And, if they're over 72, they have to take it out, which drives people crazy, but it's true.
Right. The government has a plan for each and every dollar that's in that retirement account one way or another. And so, Tim, maybe another reason to talk with a professional if you want to plan proactively, but perhaps don't know where to start, or even if you have already been somewhat proactive, but are not completely satisfied with the results or that you're getting all of the information. It's time to have another conversation.
Right. I always say another set of eyes never hurts, to get some different ideas out there. Come in and talk to us and see if we can help you with some different things. We see people in here daily that have Medicare, Social Security questions, or just they don't know how much risk they have in their investments until we point it out to them. We run Riskalyze, which is a great software that can really tell them how they're doing. And then, of course, Morningstar. And then the coup de grace to me is definitely doing an income allocation plan for someone so that they have a plan.
That's kind of bringing all of the pieces together, isn't it?
All day long. And one of the analogies I used with the lady the other day, I said, if I'm a contractor and I come to you and I tell you I'm going to redo your kitchen and I don't have a plan and I don't have a blueprint, I just say, we're going to wing it. Would you sign up with me? And she laughed. She said, of course not. I said, well, that's what you're about to do in retirement, and that's pretty important stuff. You need to get ahead of this. And so we did an income allocation plan, and her and her husband both said as they're leaving, thankfully we did this. I will sleep better tonight, knowing that I have a plan now.
Tim, again, you make the offer to take anyone through that process to help them with structuring that written retirement income plan, starting with the education of the class or the book, but culminating in having that plan that gives that kind of sense of security and stability. And ladies and gentlemen, again, if you got questions, if you'd like to go through that process, pick up the phone, give Tim a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, that's not often where the financial conversation starts, though. Maybe rephrasing that, where should the conversation with a financial advisor begin, or what are some of the signs of a more solid financial plan?
Well, I mean, what are the signs of having a better plan, you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Or where should the conversation begin in order to arrive at a better plan?
Well, I mean, the one thing we do is we have a file that we open for them that's fillable, that they can tell us kind of a snapshot of what they have going on. It almost creates a budget for us so that we can understand how much money they're going to need. A lot of people will come in here and go, oh, we're living on, $100,000 a year because the house is paid off, the kids are gone, et cetera. And retirement will be, it'll be much less than that. And then once we boil it down to property taxes, welcome to Cook County, bills for the house, et cetera, they're up about at $100,000, and they go, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Plus we want to take that trip that we've never been able to do, or, he finally wants to get that car that, he's always wanted, but we were waiting until retirement. Those types of things, are things that we can plan for, and we'll make sure that they do have an actual plan, and understand how much money they're going to be taking out. And then of course, what is the tax bill?
Well, again, if you would like to go through the process with a certified financial planner, getting answers to those important questions, a little tongue-tied there, Tim Stearns is a CFP, certified financial planner, and he can help get that plan put together with you, for you. That process, Free of charge, no cost, no obligation, no downside for placing that call. Get answers to your questions. There's no need to meet in person to get that process started, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Stearns here standing by to help answer your questions. Get that plan in place. 800-640-2256, the number to call. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Well, Tim, it is that time of year. You know, I think that the holidays can seem overwhelming and stressful,
Right.
but I think that having a plan will help to alleviate a lot of that stress. And it is crunch time. There's a lot on our plates, maybe now more than it seems ever before, but we can make some time for this. And if we make this a priority, then we can spend a lot less time worrying about it and more time actually enjoying ourselves.
100%. Yeah. If you have a plan in place, everything kind of falls into line there. And I think that's what people, you know, that had done the plan previous with us when the pandemic hit, you know, they were fine. And we didn't get panicky phone calls. And that's huge. You know, and they weren't having sleepless nights because of it. You know, these are things that we take into account and make sure that we take it off their plate and make it, you know, on our shoulders, and we'll take care of them.
CFP, Tim Stearns, Chicago Lands Resource, standing by, ladies and gentlemen. Pick up the phone, give them a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, we always appreciate your time. Thank you for being here as the resource for Chicagoland area savers and investors.
Thanks, Peter.
Tune into Chicagoland Certified Financial Planner Tim Stearns' full radio program on 890 WLS every Sunday at 11 a.m. and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.